Here is an in-depth look of The Penguin, the season finale. Due to the fact that this is not your typical flashback scene, we have an old Frances who is reflecting on when she lost her two boys. On one side, you have Frances who is, up in age, and you have the young Frances who is fitting the time period at this time. And at this moment, she knows that the main reason her children are not with her no more is because of Oz, and Oz is needy. Then we have a face-to-face conversation with Rex and Frances. Rex implies pretty much, let's sit here and just knock him off. But as the conversation continues, he lets her know that pretty much that a lot of people in that his line of work are looking for a father figure, and that he uses it to his advantage, which Francis can do with Oz. The only difference is he wants the devotion of his mother. And in this moment, you realize why she has so much hatred for her son. Why does she always belittle him? Because anytime that she looks at Oz, whether it was back then or now, she is constantly reminded at the fact that you are the reason why my other two boys are not here. Now she is recalling the events. You had Dr. Julian, you have Sophia, who I would say are anchors in this current time, helping her to remain calm because they want info on how to get to Oz and affect his mental. And with that specific time period, everything hits a climax within this scene. With us now being in the present moment, you see Oz in a Francis confrontation. And what we feel from Sophia is that she's filled up with anger, frustration, because you have to remember, Oz is the reason why she went to Arkham. Oz is the reason why she does not have her drug, Bliss. Oz is a part of one of the many men that was in Sophia's life that betrayed her, that led her onto this warpath. So why not it be the best revenge in sitting here, have you confront your mother, knowing at the end of the day, she knows that you are the reason why your brothers are not here. This is where everything hits ahead with Frances, saying she always knew, and that he is evil incarnated. And in this moment, Penguin knows what went on that night. He doesn't not want to admit to it. He wants to stay in this bubble that he made from his childhood, where he came back home and he had nothing to do with his brother, even though deep down he felt frustration towards his brother due to his disability, which left him to lock them down in the storm drain. And then this intense moment, what happens? Frances starts to hallucinate and see the boys that she truly missed. And at this moment, she collapsed. And when I saw this scene with Sophia meeting with other families, where she is letting them know that I will give you some of my businesses because she is finna flee Gotham. And in this moment, I'm thinking, like, does she feel like she's in over her head? What will make her give up this power that she has at this moment? Why doesn't she stand her ground and claim the chair that she truly wanted 10 years ago before her ultimate demise of going into Arkham? For some reason, when Oz went to go meet with the councilman, I felt like when he was in that seat, he felt a sense of power. Because in this moment, as he is conversating with the councilman, he wants to make sure when he assumes the throne of being the top crime boss, that the events that happened in Crown Point, which were the explosion that happened underground, everything leads back to Sophia and not to him. And I felt like in this moment, the councilman saw an opportunity to make his reputation look good. This might even put him in a position to even run for mayor at that moment. Could it happen? It can. It's just a thought. Because if you were into an elected position as he is, you would want to look as if you're doing right by the people, but really it is just an accomplishment that you're using for your benefit to put you in other places. What also caught me by surprise is how Oz looked at the mirror, and I was wondering, what would Oz do in this moment if he was to come across the mirror face to face? Would he try to blackmail her? Would he try to kidnap her? Because when he saw her, like, he was locked in. And in the moment, I'm thinking, like, he can possibly concoct something, anything. We'll just have to see in the Batman Part 2 and even in Part 3. Now, I did bring this up in a previous video, but with the overall scenes of her lighting the cigarette and setting fire to the bedrooms, I feel as if she was going through a shedding process, letting go of the past that once tortured her. And when I mean tortured her, meaning her father putting her in Arkham and her becoming traumatized in the process of living out her sentence. And as you see, she has a bottle of alcohol and her whole face says it all, relief. In the most twisted way I can possibly put this, I think this is her way of healing that troubled past. With this overall TV show showing a thirst for power, in this particular scene, you see Sophia with Zal. Sophia is relieved to see that she has Penguin in the palm of her hand, or so she thinks. But what Zal does not know is that Link wants his position. And what that leads to? Him taking out Zal because he wants to be the one running in charge. Just like you would have Oz pulling strings by taking out Sophia and the Melronis. Now, there were certain key moments where I really thought Oz was winging it. But how he played it by thinking on his feet, it just shows you how much of a master manipulator this guy is. And in this moment right here, for me, it just felt extremely petty in a sense. But it didn't seem logical at this moment because it's like, why would you have her in the back seat knowing that, hey, she can sit here, come up front and just claw your eyes out. Next thing you know, y'all go off the road. And in this moment, Oz is reminding her of the silver spoon that she has. And in this moment, you have Oz tell her, like, y'all never really look out for y'all people that work for y'all. So in that moment, it creates animosity. It creates this place of like, I want to take over and honestly put myself in a better position. And slowly but surely, you had different people from different gangs get taken out by those who want their top spot. Because in order to be the man, you have to beat the man. But I hope they also realize that the same position that they just put themselves in, there's going to be somebody next who is going to be you in that moment. So then we have Oz and Sophia. Sophia is accepting the fact that her fate is going to be death. Sophia lets Oz know that there will be a seat in hell for you. So in this moment, you're thinking that, okay, Sophia's going to be off the board. But little do you know, Sophia's going to get arrested in this moment, which leads her to be in shock. Next thing you know, you see the cops pull up and they take her away to Arkham. Because I think personally she was comfortable dying in this moment. Like I said, with the councilman portraying as if he is the master manipulator behind this situation, in reality, he's not. It was the Penguin. He is just taking credit for something that was just making him look good in the end. So in this moment, we have Oz, we have Vic. They're having a heart-to-heart. Vic is letting him know, hey, you are family to me. You know, you gave me a chance. You put me in the right positions. You see, Oz, when he said the F word, which is family, I think Oz knew what was about to happen. And a part of me wants to feel like Oz didn't want to do it. But you have to think about it. This man has been so obsessed about having a top spot since episode 1. That he feels that he will be compromised if he left Vic alive because he knows that he has an attachment towards Vic and that might take him out of the top seat. Then we're back arguing with Dr. Julian. Then we had Sophia in a traumatic state and accepting defeat. Little does she know she's getting a letter from Selena Kyle, which is her half-sister. Now in this moment, her face was blank. But what's going through my head is, what is she thinking? How is she going to respond? Is she going to accept her visit when she comes here in Arkham? The possibilities are endless. Then we see Penguin come into the penthouse that he once told his mom that, hey, I'm going to get you in there and you know life is going to be good. And he's really putting on the gear that really portrays the Penguin. And in this moment, I realized Frances is in a hell. She cannot escape. She is dealing with a son that deep down, if she can take his life and replace him with her 2 boys, she would. But there's nothing she can do. Is just remain in her vegetable state. Oz is very selfish for keeping her alive. And I wonder, whenever she decides to kick the bucket, how is this going to affect Oz at the end of the day? Then we get a deeper understanding of his relationship with his mom through his escort. Meaning, anytime that he wants to go see his escort, 9 times out of 10, she was acting like his mom. Because all Oz ever wanted was his mom to feel proud of him, but he brought it on himself by getting rid of his brothers. So she's into the role like, you did well, sweetheart. Mom is so proud of you. There's nobody can stop you. But there's somebody he is going to have to answer to, and I guarantee you he's not going to like it. And I wonder how the confrontation is going to be. I really love how they stuck to the narrative of making him a villain and not trying to make him an anti-hero with moral